everyone. During this unexpected shift in the industry, Reed Exhibitions has taken an initiative to connect with industry leaders to understand how they can help others to sail through this difficult phase. So today, let's hear from Mr. Abhishek Bansal, who's the Executive Director of Pacific Malls. Hello, Abhishek, how are you?
Good, Ashna, and a big thank you for inviting me. Big thank you to you and Reed Exhibitions for having me.
Thank you so much for taking time for us. So Abhishek Bansal, Executive Director, Pacific Malls, is one of the India's leading retail conglomerate. For Pacific Group has over 20 years of experience in acquisition, development, finance, operations, and marketing of retail real estate. Under his leadership, the Pacific Group has grown to expand to about 3 million square feet of retail space and about 1.5 million under development to be releases by 2022. So Abhishek, tell us, how has been the journey of Pacific Malls so far in the pandemic world?
It's been unprecedented times for everyone, a big learning period. One could never imagine all shopping centers coming to a grinding halt all at once. So something that nobody had ever imagined, and we have gone through such times. But having gone through those times, we've had some big learnings. We've had some experiences that we never thought that we would have in terms of not only our operations, in terms of forging new relationships, in terms of strengthening older relationships. Now everyone, in fact, not just us, everyone is looking at this business with a new vision. I would say that more or less everyone is pretty much kind of ensured that this business that we are in is here to stay, and the fundamentals are strong. And just in a few months post the unlock, after the first unlock has begun, we've started seeing the numbers coming back, the people coming back. So it just gives us immense amount of confidence in the way we are building this business.
So thank you so much for sharing this. See, your mall is one of the initial malls, best malls which came. So of course, people believe in that, and they look forward. And do you see like more numbers during the weekends, and how is it? If you could just highlight it more.
Well, yes, typically the weekends are stronger than the weekdays. But what we have seen now is that post the unlock has started to happen. We see that very focused customers are coming in. The per person spend has almost gone from 1.5 to 2 times. The dwell time is a little bit lower because not a lot of entertainment options are in place. But the people who are coming in to shop, they're coming with an agenda. They know what they want. So the basket size is bigger. The spend per person is bigger. The weekends, of course, are better. We also saw, for example, the Rakhi weekend was very good. The Independence Day weekend was very good. So the graph more or less is pretty much similar to what it used to be. Of course, with lesser amount of people, we are at about 50% of foot traffic at the moment. So even with that 50% foot traffic, the graph more or less is pretty similar to the graph it used to be last year in terms of the footfalls, in terms of traffic for festivals or for weekends. Pretty much there, yes.
It is like really good to know, because in these challenging times, people are coming back. They are having confidence to go to malls and then shop. So as you have mentioned about Rakhi, so you think that festive season, would bring back the footfalls as we have Diwali coming up? Navratras are starting from tomorrow.
Yes. And we are already seeing the uptick. I mean, now we are midway into the October month. We are already seeing the uptick, and the Diwali season has already started to look like we should be getting to about 75% of pre-COVID times.
Sure, interesting. So Abhishek, malls have been, about shopping, leisure, fun. What do you think would be the future of entertainment? It is a time to rethink the purpose of experiential retail.
I see experiential retail has always been uh, rethought every year because things change, formats change, expectations of the people change, and demands of the people change of what they expect out of shopping center. I remember having started about 15, 16 years ago. It was all about put a good anchor in, put a good shop in, and get your people into shop. Uh, for the last 15, 16 years or so, every year the thought process of how to run a center, what to make of a center, what should the common areas be like, ingress, egress, other services. It's a continuously living and breathing organism, our shopping centers. So COVID or no COVID, experiential shopping, entertainment, or the whole experience of being in a shopping center is a continuously changing process. It really depends on which neighborhood you are, which catchment you are, how do people behave locally, which city you are placed in. But it's so I think I also gather from your question is will the existing entertainment options change, or are we looking at changing any of our the options that we have in our existing centers? Uh,
Absolutely.
yeah. So on that, I would say uh, the see this is a very temporary phase. We can't base our long-term plannings on what has happened or what have we gone through for say 6 to 12 months. Fundamentally, entertainment or cinemas or family entertainment centers, food and beverage. Now, these are fundamentally, basically strong anchors, strong businesses for our shopping centers and footfall drivers. So we are going through this challenge, but this is a very temporary thing. All these things are going to remain there. In fact, I would tend to believe that this is only going to become larger and stronger because the whole purpose of now coming to shopping center is becoming a more like a community center driven thing rather than a shopping center driven activity. So these
Right.
formats are only going to get stronger. Uh, in fact, in the last 2 3 months, 2 months actually, we have closed more than 5 to 6 restaurant deals in our shopping centers, and more to follow. So fundamentally, food and beverage or entertainment is here to stay. Of course, the tweaking will keep happening basis on time to time on what the consumer demand is.
Sure. Could you also would like to, highlight on the cinema's opening? So how
Yeah.
people are responding to it?
Yeah. So today is the first day. We are opening with only one show in the evening today.
Okay.
Today is the 15th. So very soon to comment, but we are expecting. See, from now to maybe mid-November or end of November, this is more a confidence building thing. I would peg this at the same level as how we opened the shopping centers. When we first opened, the first 15-20 days was really about building confidence within the minds of the consumer that it is safe to come to a shopping center. You are in a more protected environment. The SOPs are being followed, etc., etc. So I think the first 15-20 days for the cinema will also be pretty much the same thing. We need to build confidence in the people's minds that coming to a cinema, watching your movies there, or having your food there, it'll be all about building the confidence in the consumer. Initially, there may be some challenge on the content. I don't see a lot of new movies immediately in the first 15 to 30 days.
I
But
was about to ask you which movie.
yeah.
Yeah.
So we will the operators will probably be running some film festivals,
Right.
or so things like that. The movie buffs will come out. People are bored of watching their TV, and the joke goes कि lockdown में Netflix खत्म हो गया है और मैंने सारे serials देख लिए Netflix के, as the joke goes,
Correct.
because there's nothing else to do. So people
Yeah.
really do want to come out and watch and experience the larger screen, because you cannot replace that experience.
Yeah, see, the situation is getting better now. Malls are opening up, cinemas are also opening up. So even the weather is getting better. So,
Yes,
like,
yes, yes.
coming more likely to come. Very interesting, Abhishek. So if you could also tell us, if you could comment on the future of collaborative retail going forward.
On the collaborative retail, what I would say, see, another thing that this pandemic has taught us is uh, how to come together amongst the tenants, amongst the retailers and developers, and figure out way forward. And when I notice and I look at the number of shopping centers, at least in the NCR, I do not see much of vacancy, and I don't see a lot of people having vacated any of the areas. This just completely goes to show the bond that the developer and the retailers share amongst each other, and they have figured out ways with every different format. Mind you, there are 10, 15 kinds of formats within a shopping center, be it apparel, be it a hypermarket, be it cinema, be it food court, restaurant. Restaurants then again have a more alcohol-based restaurant or a food-based restaurant. So all of those formats were discussed threadbare, and all of us reached to a certain amount of conclusion. So this pandemic has really taught us that one big thing, and that is to collaborate. uh, Multiple models of deals have come up, multiple models of revenue share have come up, MG systems have come up. So I think that has been a big learning during the pandemic, and it's I think this has been a big learning experience for the future.
Sure, very interesting. So Abhishek, also Pacific Malls have been rolling out a number of strategies to lure customers to brick and mortar locations as opposed to shopping online. So please unveil the strategies to keep malls relevant in the current retail climate.
So again, I mean, this is not something that we're going to do through the pandemic, but this is a continuous exercise that we've been doing. And I always say that what everyone considers as a online versus an offline business. And I've said this earlier, online has been the biggest boon to offline organized retail shopping center business.
Right.
If there was no online, offline would not have seen the figures, the jump in numbers as it
Absolutely.
sees today. So online is a big complementing thing that works for shopping centers. Uh, the mere ad budgets of online companies, greatly surpass the total investment of retail in a few cities, if you put the numbers down. So the strategy really for us as brick and mortar is to be able to communicate with the customer and to be able to tell them what's happening at our mall, what is available, what is not available, the experience we are creating, the merchandise that is available, etc., etc. Now, if we are able to communicate that well with the customer, the experience that we give on the ground level at the shopping center, of course, an online company cannot give. And the fact that more than 60% of the foot traffic is back in just 3 months of the unlock goes to show that people do not want to stay at home and they do want to come out. So more or less, us being able to communicate with our micro market is the big thing that we try and do, online versus offline.
Sure. Thank you so much for sharing. And it was also, as you've said that online is always complemented offline. In the smaller towns wherein, the shops were not there and they were not accessible and the malls were not there. So it really gave a good hit to, the brands, they
Yes,
business, it
yes.
brand reached out to more number of people. So
No,
that's
in fact, if you look at it, if, for example, in a smaller city, if one brand is doing very well online, it
yeah,
just gives him a cue on why not do a store there. So if he's getting some substantial numbers from that city, it's very simple data of analyzing and seeing that, this city is demanding so much from us online. Why not have a store there? So this,
Absolutely.
this just makes sense.
Absolutely. See, that's how it is. People, because these bigger brands, they were saturated in the bigger towns, so they wanted to go to smaller towns, and
Yes.
then malls also initiated in the smaller towns. So that's how the growth is happening. Really.
And in fact, if you look at the data post the pandemic, the smaller towns were quicker to come back in terms of sales, in terms of the footfalls than the metros. So
Absolutely.
it just goes to show the strength of those cities.
Yeah. So also, Abhishek, if you could, highlight on this, as public transport is becoming more and more important now. So what is your intake on retail with transit-oriented development opportunities?
So public transport in India, we all know has been very, very challenging since forever. But things like the metro have completely changed the game. And metro riders, for example, in Delhi, were crossing more than 40 lakh a day. That's a very big number. And if that kind of number of people are moving on those tracks, being close to that metro station, and in fact being on top or under that metro station just makes complete sense, because that's the lifeline of the city now. It's no more the buses, it's no more those roads. uh, the metro has now become the lifeline of the city with those kind of people moving on the metro. So the other thing in real estate that you may have heard, the three things that are the most important are location, location, and location. Now that location and location has shifted to being extremely close to a metro station, or on top of the metro station, or under a metro station. Now that has become really important with the kind of infrastructure. And we all know in cities like Delhi, there is hardly any scope of expanding road network. But the only scope now there is for the metro to expand. And from one end of the city to the other end of the city, the metro connects you. So transport oriented developments are the future. The other thing that happens is in these in these hubs of the metro stations, you can do smaller neighborhood centers, which earlier you could not, because it was the land was mostly controlled by the development authorities or the corporations. Because of the metro stations, a certain amount of FSI has been unlocked, where these kind of retail projects can be done, which are controlled by a single developer, and an environment is being created. Otherwise, if you look at the older DDA community centers or the local shopping centers, much of strata sold, and not much could be done because it was not in control of one single developer. But now with these developments, that environment one is able to create.
Yeah, absolutely. So thank you so much, Abhishek, for sharing your insight with us. So
Thank you, Ashna.
Help the entire retail and real estate community. And I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for your time. Read Exhibitions will be back with many more such insights. Bye and stay safe.
Thank you, Ashna. Thank you very much.
Thank you.